Hi Carole, welcome back. What do you have in store for us this week?
Well, The Hired Man, an amazing novel by Aminatta Forna. She's still quite a young writer, part African, Sierra Leone she grew up in, and also Scotland. Has actually been to New Zealand many years ago to the Auckland Readers and Writers Festival, quite a long time ago now, but I didn't meet her at that stage. She had written a biography of her father at that stage, and then but had not really written novels. She's gone on to write a number of novels, and this one, The Hired Man, is quite extraordinary. It's set in Croatia, and it's very subtle, it's very understated. It starts with an English family buying a house, the Blue House it's known as to the locals. They buy the Blue House, and Laura and her two teenage children come to live there for the summer. Right. The father of the family is working back in England, and he does pop over at one stage, but doesn't get to come over to Croatia as much as he thought he would.
And so many British families do this, don't they? They don't spread themselves in France and Spain, etc., etc.
Buying a house in Europe with no understanding of the history of the place or what's gone on, and particularly in Croatia.
A blood-soaked land, if ever there was one.
Absolutely a blood-soaked land, but nothing is spoken about that at all. But it's there underneath, and it is just referred to very subtly. The house needs quite a lot of repairs, and Laura hires Duro, he is the hired man. She hires him to do handiwork. Now, he lives very close by in a little cottage, a little hut, really. He lives completely on his own with his two dogs. One of the dogs is blind. And he is a silent witness, really, to what's gone on. He doesn't speak much about anything. He certainly doesn't tell. He becomes good friends with Laura and her two children, but he doesn't tell them anything at all. When Laura asks him a question about his family, for example, he finally tells her that, really when he's pressed, he finally tells her that his father and one of his sisters are dead. And she says, well, how did they die? And he says, in an accident. And she doesn't ask any more, and he's not going to tell what the accident was. And of course you find out in the book how they died, and it's horrendous. He has played a very crucial role in the history of this village. They were under siege, a bit like Sarajevo was, and this is gradually revealed in the novel. After the siege ended, I mean, they were being pop shots were being taken at them, basically, from the hills around the village. After that siege was over, the villagers themselves turned on each other. And the thing that stayed with me particularly was the bakery. There were two bakeries in the town. The bakery that is still there is owned by the people who had the correct word for bread. The family who owned the other bakery, they had a different word for bread.
Which made them other, sort of.
They've gone. They've gone. And you find out what happened to them. And people disappeared. And I think really Duro's role in the village, there are some of the other men that he's known right from boyhood, Kresmir in particular, who he was a friend with as a boy, who's a very evil character, you begin to suspect. Duro's role is to bear witness. He's a man of great integrity. He's silent. He cannot leave. His mother and surviving sister have gone away to live in the city. He stays there because he feels a moral obligation. His presence in that town reminds everyone about what went on that cannot be forgotten. And the English family will never have any idea.
It's a very pretty cover for what sounds like quite a dark book.
Well, it's a dark book in some ways, but that's a wonderful, not a fresco, what do you call it?
A mosaic.
A mosaic, a mosaic. And on the Blue House, there is a mosaic that's been covered over, and Grace, the teenage daughter, painstakingly peels back the plaster and gradually reveals this beautiful mosaic that has quite symbolic significance.
Some key to the story.
Yes.
It sounds very intriguing.
It's a subtle, beautiful book.
Thank you so much, Carole Beu.